And we're live. What's going on, people? We're gonna get right into this, man, because there's more information surrounding the new Batman that's coming out. So I definitely want to take the time to talk about this, because if you haven't heard, Robert Pattinson has been cast as Batman. It's not officially confirmed by Warner, but Matt Reeves has confirmed it, and quite a few other sources have confirmed it. So it's pretty much, he's Batman. And we've also got more information surrounding Batman. Talking about the Rogue Gallery is going to be introduced more now. We're probably going to see Penguin, possibly Clayface, possibly Riddler, possibly Penguin, possibly Mad Hatter. So it's looking like they're going to be bringing a lot more villains, hopefully, because you got to be honest, man. We're tired of the same old villains. Like, we're tired of seeing the Joker 100 times. You know what I'm saying? Excuse me. Rest in peace, Heath Ledger. He did the most iconic version of the Joker, in my opinion, my favorite rendition of the Joker. And, you know, as amazing as it was, I don't think anyone's going to ever be able to duplicate it. I am going to see the Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie, like when it officially drops or whatever, but, like, no one's going to top Heath Ledger, in my opinion. I just don't see it happening. You know what I'm saying? Not only that, but DC has always been in this cycle where they just recycle the exact same villains over and over and over. You see Bane, you see Joker, you see Bane, you see Joker. We've only seen Riddler once, you know what I'm saying? Only other appearance we've seen from Riddler as far as live action is in the Gotham TV series. So, seeing him again on the big screen is going to be super dope. I'm definitely excited for that. And then, you know, we got to see who else they're going to bring. Nothing's officially confirmed. They're also talking about how Deathstroke is still a part of it. And for those who watch Teen Titans heavily, Deathstroke is Slade. Also, if you watch Arrow, you also know that. Or if you just generally read the comics. But he's supposed to still be attached to it. Joe Mangala, I believe his name is. No. Joe Manganiello? Something like that. He was in the guy from... let me actually look this up, because I hate not having, like, the full... Joe Manganiello. I cannot pronounce his name at all. He's married to Sofia Vergara. So if you guys follow Sofia Vergara and you're wondering who's the hulking guy on her arm, it's Joe Manganiello. He's an actor. He's pretty decent. They teased a picture of him as Slade a couple of years ago, back when Ben Affleck was still heavily tied to writing and directing Batman. And it was go check that picture out. He looked dope. He looked like an older Slade, like white hairs, I guess supposed to be gray or whatever. That looked pretty dope. So if he's going to be in the movie, I definitely would like that. Now, it's interesting because they talk about how this new upcoming Matt Reeves Batman, starring Robert Pattinson, is not really going to have a connection with Zack Snyder's Man of Steel, Justice League, and Batman v Superman. But they're also talking about still using him as Deathstroke, and Alfred's returning. Jeremy Irons is returning as Alfred. So it's probably going to be more like a soft boot, because this is not an official origin story. This is more like year one Batman, but no origin. So what you're gonna get is like a fresh Batman, but most likely a Batman who's only been on the street for like maybe a year, maybe a couple years. You know what I'm saying? He probably just met Gordon and hasn't even really talked to Gordon quite yet. So what you should expect is a new story, but not necessarily an origin story, but it's definitely gonna be separate from the past movies that we've seen so far from DC. I like that. And I've also been reading up, and apparently Matt Reeves is planning on turning this into a bit of a noir. So it's going to be more a detective Batman than anything. I fuck with that heavy. I definitely like when you bring Batman and you bring him down to the nitty gritty and you really show the grime of Gotham City. Not only that, but what really hurt Batman v Superman is being forced to add all the extreme supernatural elements to it, kind of trying to overload it with action to the point where the story suffered. Because one thing about DC, and I don't think a lot of people ever noticed, DC's storylines were always amazing. You know what I'm saying? I didn't read a hell of a lot of Marvel. I watched more Marvel than I did, but I read quite a bit of DC. I watched quite a bit of DC. DC's storylines are always dope as fuck. So if they can keep it to the point where it's more focused on story, rather than they get super into the action and then it's overloaded with special effects and now you're trying to throw in a billion different characters who really don't fit into the film. I'd rather they just keep it low key and do it how Nolan did it. Make it more like more grounded, so to speak, if you guys understand. Like, just, it needs to feel more relatable. It needs to feel a lot more relatable than it has been. I think that's another issue that they've always had. But let me look up really quickly. One sec. I'm usually on it, but I've been slacking on my movie knowledge for the last few years or so. But yeah, just for some Matt Reeves credentials, because whenever a new director is assigned to something that I love, and I love DC Comics way more than Marvel, I'm always weary. And I was cool with Snyder when he first got cast because I appreciated Watchmen. I wasn't super into it, so I wasn't a diehard fan like most of the people were who had their gripes with it. But I liked it. I liked the way he did it, and then I liked the way he did the Man of Steel. I loved the way he did Man of Steel. Like, I thought it was a great way to separate the DC universe from the playful, upbeat style of the way Marvel was doing things. It was more dark. It was grittier. It felt like DC, and I felt like he was trying to bring a world that was more realistic version of superheroes. You know what I'm saying? Not that Marvel does show a very realistic side. You know what I'm saying? They combat with the government and then with the people's opinions about when they destroy cities and if they're held accountable and shit like that. But with DC, you really get to see like the hard-hitting emotion that the characters have to deal with. I like the way he did Man of Steel. Even though people did have their gripes with it, I thought it was dope. The way Snyder did it. But then Batman v Superman came out, and whether we chalk it up to studio interference, I'm very certain it was a combination of studio interference and then him kind of wanting to go in his own direction or whatever, and the product just wasn't good in the end. But we're past that. That's pretty much scrapped, okay? Snyder is gone. It's over for that. That Batman v Superman, as well as that Justice League movie, and now pretty much the Man of Steel film, I guess those are all kind of null and void. What I'm hoping is that DC kind of goes forward from here. No more backtracking. I think from here on out, if you're going to bring Superman, don't bring an origin film. Honestly, I don't know if I want Superman appearing in someone else's film, because at the end of the day, Superman is his own standout character. He is the epitome of DC. Batman on one side, Superman on the other side. We definitely need more Superman film, but we need someone that's really going to be dedicated to holding down Superman. And I don't think it's necessarily someone, because I do believe Zack Snyder was really fucking with Superman. Him and Cavill were super cool, and he wanted to do the sequel. The problem was Warner Brothers really wanted to try to play catch up with Marvel to the point where we got everything rushed. Like, if Cavill would have gotten his second Superman film, it would have been way better, and we wouldn't even be having this conversation. But anyway. Yeah, as far as Reeves, okay, he's done Cloverfield. I thought Cloverfield was dope. He did Dawn of the Planet of the Apes and War of the Planet of the Apes, which, I mean, those are phenomenal films. So Reeves' credentials is pretty solid for the most part. He wrote and directed the Planet of the Apes franchises, the last two. I mean, the first two, yeah, I think it's the first and the third one, because I don't think he did Rise. No, Rise was the first one. I'm sorry. Rise was the first one. He didn't do that one, but he did do the last two. Okay. But Matt Reeves is I like his style. I like the way he does things, and he's very, very good at capturing that real gritty emotion that really draws me. If you never saw Dawn of the Planet of the Apes or War of the Planet of the Apes, go watch those films. Phenomenal films. And speaking of those films, Andy Serkis plays Simeon, the main ape. He's also rumored to have a role coming up in Matt Reeves' Batman film. Now, he's mostly used for motion capture. So me and a coworker were talking, and my instant thought was Clayface immediately, because Clayface was already a character that was announced. And since Serkis is the master of motion capture, it only made sense that he would be the one to play Clayface. But we can't rule out the fact that he can play other people. He's very versatile as an actor, and he's shown that he can really hold his own. Even outside of motion capture, he was Claw in motherfucking Black Panther. So he showed that he can act. Now, sidebar real quick. I kind of want to get into this topic a little bit, because I kind of feel a way about all these actors and directors just kind of swapping around and jumping from like Marvel to DC to Marvel to DC. And yeah, it's a job and they're paid and blah blah, but I don't like seeing the same actors play different characters in different franchises, bro. Like, there's way too many people out here acting for us to continuously be using the same people over and over. I don't know. I don't like that trend from actors to directors. You know what I'm saying? I would rather see this studio have their people, this studio has these people. Not that you can't branch out and stuff, but I feel like that it lacks versatility. You know what I'm saying? I don't want a director directing this Marvel film and then 2 films later he's directing this DC film and these films fucking feel so similar. I'm not into that. I don't know. But aside from that, I am ready to see Andy Serkis in Batman because I always like Andy Serkis. He's been dope. I thought he was dope ever since Lord of the Rings. So I fuck with him. Yeah, now Robert Pattinson is cast. I know a few people have their reservations from him in Twilight, but you really need to look at his film catalog to go far beyond Twilight because Robert Pattinson he's a legit actor, 100%. Now, he's not the only one that was up for this role, though. They were also considering Nicholas Hoult. He's the guy who plays Beast. I literally just talked about this issue, but I do like Nicholas Hoult. I don't think I like him as any type of Bruce Wayne. To be honest, I don't think he really exudes that. I don't know if he really exudes. Well, I mean, he has the broodiness down pat because he's definitely a brooding type of person. Even back when he did fucking Jack the Giant Slayer, like that personality does fit him. I just don't see him as Bruce. I'm sorry, I don't. Another guy that was up for it is Armie Hammer. Now, I haven't been too big on Armie Hammer since the shit with Johnny Depp, The Lone Ranger. Now, I know it's not fair to hold one film against someone, but when the film's egregious and when you haven't really done anything after that film to show me that, like, you've elevated as an actor since then, I don't know. I have reservations because he was in Social Network, but I mean, he showcased acting, which was cool. And then he was in the shit with Henry Cavill where they were spies. I forgot the name of it. But I don't know, man. He was also in the J. Edgar Hoover movie opposite of Leonardo DiCaprio. That shit was panned. And I saw the Hoover film. The film wasn't really bad. But I'm just not super big on Armie Hammer. Like, I don't know. I'm just not big on him. But anyway, this Batman film looks promising. Like, it looks very promising. Just based on paper, we gotta be careful. Because we've been burned by Warners before. And that's my biggest issue with this whole thing. Not necessarily issue, but my thing about it is that Warner Brothers has shown that they will sacrifice their product in order to attempt to play catch up and in order to try to bring in as much box office as possible. You know what I'm saying? They tried to play catch up with Marvel. They tried to do what Marvel did in 10 years, in 5 years, and failed miserably. Now I'm hoping that they saw from their mistakes and they really, really just allow the directors to push forward with their story. You know what I'm saying? Now, the fact that this film is not tied to the other films, I feel like it's kind of showing that either Matt Reeves doesn't really want to shoulder this whole DC Justice League burden, or perhaps he's just not looking that far ahead. Either way, I'm not mad. I want focus just on Batman. I have no problem with that. Establish Batman solo. You know what I'm saying? Because we still have the issue with The Flash. And we're going to transition to this next topic. Well, same situation, but different character. We're talking about The Flash now because it's reported that Ezra Miller is most likely on his way out. And he's the guy that was picked to play Barry Allen. He portrays Barry in Batman v Superman cameo as well as the Justice League film. And he's been trying to help promote the movie since he was announced in like 2016. That was 3 years ago. Reports say that his contract is pretty much up. Like, his contract with Warner's is up. Not only that, but they have not been able to keep writers. Well, I think they got it together with the writers, but they have not been able to keep directors for this film. Like, at all. They've gone through about 3 or 4 different sets of directors, and the latest directors, who was the creative team behind Spider-Man Homecoming, they were kind of clashing with him. So it's not looking good. Like, apparently he tried to do some last ditch effort and presented them a script where the Flash was a bit darker and edgier as a way to try to spin it and kind of just save whatever they had left, but it's washed up. Like, he was announced in like 2015 or 16. The film hasn't even gotten out of production hell in 3 years. And if it takes 3 years just to get out of production, it's more than likely that they never really fully committed to this film. They probably weren't even going to fully commit to it until they saw the success of all of their films. You know what I'm saying? Because at the time when they announced it, The Flash wasn't really super popular. Not until the Flash series started popping. And what I'm thinking that they might do, because from what I'm hearing, Ezra Miller's out, and they're thinking about replacing Barry Allen with Wally West. And then just continuing from there. Now, the only way I see that happen, or not only way, but I can see that making a lot more sense if they then would approach Grant Gustin, who plays the Flash in the TV series, and they find a way to get the TV series character onto the film. And then you have this film that introduces Wally as Flash, and you either put them in the same film, which I'm assuming you would have to, but I don't know. I'm thinking something like that is potentially going to happen. Either that, or they're just going to completely ignore Barry Allen, because not for nothing, in quite a few of the Justice League, some of the Justice League comics, and definitely in the animated TV series, it's Wally West. It's not Barry Allen. So they could just be going in a whole new direction. Who knows? They could be trying to go progressive, because Wally West is black in most of the newer comics now. So they might be trying to bring a black Wally West. Who knows, man? Who knows? But it's not looking good. It's looking like they're probably gonna go back to the drawing board with this Flash film, because Urza's he's conflicting with the directors too much, and his contract's just about up, and Warner Brothers don't really know what the fuck they're doing. So I expect to hear a whole new casting call, and I'm waiting to see what they try to do with this, because I'm glad, because he's still tied to the Zack Snyder fiasco, and considering that franchise and that whole DC universe they were trying to build, that shit is dead in the water. So let's keep Wonder Woman, Gal Gadot. Let's keep Aquaman. I can't remember his name right now. And then let's introduce Batman. If we're going to bring in Wally West, that's a fresh start. I have no problem with that. And then Gotham City Sirens is still coming out, and Suicide Squad. So as much as it pains me, y'all, and as much as they have burned me, I have to put my faith in DC. In Warner Brothers, simply because they have my franchise hostage. Like, they have control over they have control over DC. So I gotta keep hoping that they're gonna get it together. This Matt Reeves Batman, it looks promising just on paper alone. I definitely want to see them put the Flash in a different or just take it in a further direction, or just get it off the ground, dude. Like, God, we gotta get DC off the ground. We gotta get our stuff off the ground, man. But I think it's gonna be, I don't know. I have high hopes. I definitely have high hopes. Now, speaking of DC, we all know John Constantine. If you don't know, he's a part of the DC universe. He's mostly with the Justice League Dark, but he also operates solo a lot. Like, if you don't remember, Constantine was introduced in 2005 to the like, as far as like major film industries or whatever. They put out the Constantine movie with Keanu Reeves, based on the DC character John Constantine. He's clairvoyant. Excuse me. Tries to take his own life as a teen, and then he realizes that he can speak to the dead. He's an exorcist, or he becomes an exorcist. He has abilities, blah blah blah. I'm only bringing this up because I feel like DC has kind of missed a golden opportunity, because it's being reported that Marvel is looking at Keanu Reeves for a possible role in the Marvel MCU. If you haven't noticed, if you haven't been on social media lately, Keanu Reeves is fucking crushing it. Okay, he debuted, they just showed him in a new Cyberpunk game. People going crazy. He got his brand new skin in Fortnite. Everybody using it. John Wick movies are doing phenomenal. Everyone is in love with John Wick right now. And people are just loving the energy that Keanu Reeves brings. Imagine how lit it would have been for DC to have I won't even say foresight, just to even pay the fuck attention to when all this shit started blowing up for Keanu again. They could have hit his phone, because not for nothing, he's expressed several times that he was interested in a Constantine 2. He's definitely said he would come back. Imagine if they would have had just the ingenuity to fucking call Keanu, like, listen, we're trying to do a Constantine sequel. Possibly put him in the Justice League. My man, do you understand? That would have been a huge leg up for Warner. A huge leg up for the DC Extended Universe. Keanu Reeves is on fire right now. And Warner Brothers need a spark and they need life. And that could have been John Constantine. It definitely could have been Constantine. But that opportunity is now missed. He's going over to Marvel. Most likely to play Adam Warlock. And I'm not saying that this was ever really a possibility. I always think about... No, I take that back. It is a possibility. This wasn't something that was guaranteed or even confirmed or really hinted at. This is just, I have to play with these ideas because, like, to me, it makes no sense how you can have all of this shit in front of you and not piece the shit together correctly. Like, I never, ever understood that. Like, that never, ever made sense to me. But I think he could have definitely been, like, a very, very big part. Just in my opinion. I don't know, man. He could have definitely helped out. But either way, it seems like DC is moving forward, which is a big up and a big hell yes, thank you. Because I'm tired of seeing my shit struggle, yo. And I'm tired of seeing my shit just constantly disrespected. And then, like, I fuck with DC, bro. Like, I want to see that shit succeed. I 100% wanted to see that shit succeed. Alright, I'm about to end it up right here, man. It was gonna be a short one. You know what I'm saying? I had to get that out because I really wanted to talk about it. I feel like DC is about to really fucking be able to do something good, and I'm hoping that I'm right. I gotta just kind of put my hopes on it. I don't know. But thanks for listening, man. I'll be back with more podcasts, definitely more frequently. Y'all take it easy, man. I'm out.